What's up, homies? It's your boy GDC4 bringing to you a new video about the movie It. So today's video will be a review about this fantastic horror movie and what I thought about it, how I liked it, about the scariness that I think it was scary, and last but not least, my recommendation for this movie to you guys. So let's begin. The movie. This was probably the best horror movie I've ever seen in my life. The reason why I'm telling you that is because the story was so detailed with such complex characters and nothing was rushed, and I felt like this movie was not focusing so much about the scariness more than the story. It was actually a good story. Like, the characters in the movie, they had a nice background, like they had a hard life. One of the members had a family member that would constantly abuse them, and which would force them to kill their family member. And that was one of the things that I really liked about this movie. Everything was detailed, and those dark backgrounds brought in flavor into this movie. I liked how this movie was a pretty dark movie, but still had some light moments in it. Like, there were a couple of moments that can make you laugh, some moments that can make you happy. But in the end, you won't be mad at it. You won't be mad at the end, but there will be a specific part in the end that could probably get on your nerves. You'll get what I mean when you watch this movie. Also, I forgot to mention that I will not spoil too much about this movie because I want you guys to watch it and tell me what you thought about it. So yeah, I really enjoyed this movie, and another thing that I liked about it was the clown. So the clown itself, to me, wasn't very scary, but what he did was scary. If you have a fear for clowns, then the clown without doing anything was extremely scary. I could literally have this clown right in front of me, but I wouldn't be scared. The things that would define this clown, the thing that would make him a terrifying clown, is the actions that he would do. Brutally violating children, biting their arms off. It's so barbarous, and it's what would define this clown and make him an absolutely terrifying character. But when you just look at him like that, sure, you tell yourself he's weird, that's how all clowns are. But as soon as you look at his actions, you become so frightened that he's even worse than criminals. And plus, this clown's a demon, so that's there you go. Another thing that I enjoyed about this movie is that it had a nice balance of a little bit of everything, like the darkness, the lightness, the moments that would make you laugh. Although it had more darkness than other of these things, like subjects, because it's a horror movie, they still had the correct amount of darkness, the correct amount of light. Sure, it was a pretty dark movie, but that's what brought this movie the flavor. Now let's go on to part two. The scariness. Was this movie scary? Yes, it was a pretty scary movie, but the thing is that I wasn't really scared. The reason why I wasn't scared is because I've actually dealt with worse, with the example being playing Resident Evil Biohazard in the virtual reality version. Back to the movie. So, if someone else would watch this movie, depending how you are, sometimes you could be scared and sometimes you wouldn't. It just depends what type of person you are, but we can all agree on one thing. Scared or not, we can all agree that this movie was pretty damn scary. But the thing about the scariness of this movie is that it won't affect this movie in a negative way, of course, because it's a horror movie. But also, what I mean by that is that it won't keep you from watching the movie. Like, if you watch it, you won't be like, oh, this is too scary, I don't want to watch it. The fact that it's scary and that the story's nice at the same time will actually push you to watch this movie even more. Like, I knew some people who were like mad scared who watched the movie with me. But it still didn't stop them from watching the movie. They still wanted to know what was happening. And that was a sign that this was a good, scary movie. Now down to part 3, recommendations. Dude, we all we obviously know what the answer to that will be. It's a hell yes. This movie was a fantastic movie, probably one of the best horror movies I've ever seen, with a fantastic story. Not focusing too much on the fear, but more on the story. And many movies lack of that. And the fact that it was kids was also pretty interesting because if you read books and stories with other kids and stuff, like the pyramid something something, it would be a lot of times the story would have like a whiny kid being angry for no reason, always freaking whining, basically a whiny brat. But these kids were more complex characters. They had tough backgrounds. Although they were not poor, they suffered through other things like family issues. And that's what made these characters into the way they are. The reason to why everything was happening. And I think that's what other horror movies lack of. Also, just be aware of the clown. His weaknesses and his strength are the same thing. By that I mean his strength is fear and his weakness is fear. So, like I said, I would totally recommend this movie for you guys. And I feel like someone who's 13 and older would understand this movie more, probably due to like the adult jokes and all that stuff. Not really the adult jokes, but like the dirty jokes and all that stuff, like the way these kids would act. I'm not saying that little kids shouldn't watch this movie. Well, that depends if like the parents let them. But also there are many types of little kids. Some children are more mature than others and would understand teenager stuff. But anyways, this movie was a fantastic movie. I swear. You guys should watch it. And if you did, please leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm your boy, GDC4. Bye-bye, homies.